Hi there, it's me, the Zen Mommy. I have yet another question from my subscriber L, and this one is, did I lose it that quick? Oh, okay. How can you tell whether you're more of an energy or a physical being? I know Naya talked about it, but my knowledge didn't explain that deeply. But to my knowledge, didn't explain it that deeply. How can you know which one you are? And also I answered that one in another video. Okay, so I want to explain this. Okay, so Naya was my mentor, and I met her, through another YouTuber that did an interview on me, and she had a near-death experience. And in her near-death experience, she came back, and she had full-blown memory of everything happened. Like, I can remember stuff from my experience, but I do not remember as much as she did. And I had my experience after I met her. And, I listened to her, and as I would listen to anybody objectively, but I always was like, I need to have my own experience, before I actually, really, like, it felt right, but I needed to feel it, And so I had my out-of-body experience, my near-death experience. And as soon as I came back to this realm, she the first person I called. I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." The first thing I told her was, "Why did you come back?" Like that's how serious I was. Like, man, the difference is vast of who we really are in this human experience. And I know why I came back, right? Being outside the first thing was I was relieved that all that trauma stuff and all the stuff I've been through, that was all illusion. Complete relief. Like, I was laughing because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I fell for that, because we create this experience, our memory we take away, and we don't really believe that we're going to forget. Yes. And it's so exhilarating the moment you wake up to your true self and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that experience. And so I was like, why did you come back? Now, I wanted to come back because I was thinking, first I was like, I'm not coming back, right? I was like, I'm done, this experience is over. And then I thought about it, like, I had a goal, I really wanted to have a family. That was just important to me for some reason. I wanted to have children and a husband, and I just wanted that, and I feel like that was a part of my, part of what I created, like, that I wanted to experience. And I said, well, I'm gonna go back, but I'm gonna remember my out-of-body experience. I'm gonna remember this, and it's gonna help me live this life and, get through it. And I remembered it, right? So that was the first thing I asked her, like, how did you do? So I know, like everything she talked about, even what, it's like, how do I explain this? It's like I saw things totally differently at that experience. And for the things that I didn't remember, she would talk about a little bit, and then it would completely click. It would completely come to me, everything, that she was talking about. And I'm like, oh my God. And, it was just amazing. And so Naya, from Naya's Corner of the Universe, she was my mentor. I talked about her earlier. If you haven't seen the video, she passed away about a year or two ago, about 2 years ago. And when she did, I got more open about talking about the journey, because that's what she used to do. She would openly talk about it, and she was not ashamed of the people who doubted who we really are. She was very uplifting. So she would often say that, she didn't like the physical experience. She didn't really like being a human at all. In fact, when I asked her, I said, why did you come back? She didn't really want to intentionally come back, but outside of the game, we instantly manifest, right? And she said, I was just thinking, I should go back to that earth place and go back to help people. And she said, before I knew it, I was waking up out of a coma. And I was like, wow. And she was just like, and she said, and when I woke up, I was like, dang, like, man, I'm here. And so in this reality, when we create, which we wish we could create instantly, but it's kind of good that we don't. Because if you start thinking negative, here we're prone to negative thoughts. We have a lot of fears. Imagine every time you had a fear, it creating at that moment. Imagine you think a big old monster bear is about to break into your house and take a bite out of whoever, and it just happens because you thought about it. Okay, so out there we definitely have more control, but if you start like really thinking about stuff, it starts happening. That's just how it is. So that was the reason she came back, and she didn't like the human experience, right? She felt like she just wasn't good at it, you know. And she would often say that I am non-physical. I was an energy being. I was more of an energy being. Okay, so what Ella's asking is, how do you know if you're energy or physical? So what I think that that maybe wasn't made clear is that outside of the game, we're all non-physical. Okay, so the physicality is part of the illusion, is the game. Okay, when she said I'm not used to the people, so like a human, right? A human who likes being physical, who decides that I'll be a human and I'm gonna be a human again and I want to incarnate be a human again. The souls that are more drawn to the human game and they play it so much that they're more into physicality, is what she's saying. And she was more into non-physicality. You know, non-physicality is amazing. You know, you may not realize it now because you haven't like experienced it, but I remember having the ayahuasca experience, and my husband and I were doing it together, and we were asking about our connection and stuff. And I had this moment where I was in this dimension of being non-physical, me and my energy, and it was kind of like, how do I explain it? It looked like electricity moving, you know, around, and it didn't just look like that. It felt like that. Like I instantly realized that what I saw manifesting, it was me, you know. And I remember the feeling was nothing but love and peace and happiness, and it just felt good to exist. It felt good to be energy, and it felt good to move. And I was like, oh my God, this is me. And let me tell you, you experience experiences in many different ways. So you know, for this time, this is a memory that I had. And when I woke up, I mean, when I got out, you know, when I wasn't asleep, but when I came to from that experience, I remember looking at my husband and I was like, oh my God, we did it. We became physical. And those thoughts were coming to my mind. I was like, we actually experienced it. This is what it's like. And so I had went back to that moment when I was non-physical, and I actually felt it, and I cannot explain. I wish at the words that I could tell you what that felt like. It just felt like, imagine feeling just this good, energetic, tingling love and positivity just constantly moving. All you have to be is energy. All you have to do is be energy and do it. It was just amazing, and it was the best feeling in the world, you know. And it's hard, you know, coming into this human life. You know, when I coming back from that experience, remember what I was energetically. I still saw this as beautiful. But we forget about that when we come here, when we come into the illusion. And we only experience the human frequency. And it's so hard for people who are like starseeds, who hasn't been in this human experience, but more than like, most starseeds, this is their first time. Some might have had 1 or 2 times before. And coming in here, and it's dense, it is just like bad things happen. And if you're programmed a certain way, it's hard to not navigate it, and you know, it can suck for reals. And so I could understand, like, she's like, oh, I'd rather be, she couldn't handle it like that. She didn't like the human experience. And she was like, I prefer, she had a full memory of being an energy. That's another thing. She had a memory of that. We don't have a memory of that. So, so for the physical beings, but there are souls, right, that prefer the physical game because, you know, we're infinitely energy, right? And, you know, have you ever just wanted to do something different? You wanted to, you know, entertain yourself. You wanted to have an experience. That's basically what the humans are doing. Is they're wanting to have an experience, and you notice like a human life, you know, they may. It's kind of like. It's kind of like extreme sports, like people who climb Mount Everest, jump out of planes. It's very exciting. It's scary. That's exactly what it is for like the human, the soul that wants to play the human character over and over. It's exciting. And humans, when they be a human, they get better at being a human, right? So say they may start off low, right? They may realize it's hard to make money, hard to do this, hard to take care of myself. And so because they played the game so long, each time they come back in, they tweak it a little. They say, oh, this time I'm gonna make sure I'm born into a rich family. I'm gonna get a settlement, I'm gonna be rich. This time I'm gonna make sure I have, you know, all this, you know, born with, you know, maybe a knowledge of sciences so I can excel in this. Or this time maybe I'll be a celebrity so I can be, so they get to pick and choose from experience to make the game better and better for them, you know. And so I would take, for example, you know, me and my husband always have to talk about this. I was telling him, like, you know, I said, you know, I think Bill Gates, he's definitely a long-term human. Just think about it, you know. He came here, he set things up that he's a billionaire. He set things up that, you know, he basically can control and make decisions and do things, you know. You know, he got a PhD and he ain't never went to school. You can pay, if you have enough money, you can pay, I think it's from Yale, pay a college for an honorary PhD, okay? So let me tell you, that's a perfect example of a human who's played this game many, many years, okay? So he would be someone that, I like this game. I know how to excel at this game. I can beat this game, you know? And so, you know, and people have different ways of beating it, right? Me beating it might be ascending to remembering fully who I am, shifting fully into 5D and stuff, right? That's how you see, so we all talk about ascension, but you can ascend both ways. You can go down to the ground where you have nothing to come up. It doesn't matter because outside of this is an illusion. Outside of this, we are who we are, and that will never change. We're infinite beings, okay? And so, so she was just saying that because that's just what she preferred, you know. And I get that. I think I prefer that too. So I think personally, I prefer being an energy being too because it's so amazing. But I also really like being physical. I'm really enjoying the physical experience, physical touch, some of the sensations. Now we have all these sensations and more outside the game, but it's something about having everything taken away and re-experiencing something that's new for the first time as if you've never experienced before. And it's something about being limited and taken away from memory and just being excited about it, you know? It's part of the game. It's part of the illusion we wanted to experience. And so I think that for me, you know, future-wise, that when I get outside of this creation, I think a lot about what I'm gonna create next. And I definitely want to incorporate physicality in my next experience. In fact, I'm done with this game. I want to create another game. But I want to have physicality, but I don't want to have duality. I don't want to have, maybe I want to, you know, have limited amnesia, but I don't want to fully forget who I am. I don't want to not have, you know, abilities. I don't want to feel like stuck here and, you know, having a hard time trying to create math. I want it to be a little easier than that. You know, I'm still tweaking the experience I want to have, but that's the thing is we go through these experiences and these different illusions and realities, and each time we get through, we be like, I like this and I like that. I want to put these together and create it into that. And so we go on like this infinitely, you know, to create and create and create, right? And if you don't want to create, you can just experience, right? All of us, we're one, but we're also unique souls that all have our own different, different like desires of how we want to like create and experience things. Like I say, somebody like Bill Gates wanted to be a human, but someone like me wanted to be a starseed. I wanted to raise the frequency. I wanted to shift, right? And so we all learn these things. We have these experiences, and we come up with more unique, beautiful creations, which I feel are works of art, and they are beautiful, and you will definitely see that. And that is it for that question. Thank you for checking in with me, guys, today. Make sure you sign up for my email if you haven't signed up for it already. It's my way to stay in contact with you and, keep you with updates and announcements. Blog coming soon. And gonna let you go now. Appreciate you guys.